What's going on, Master Duel fans? James here again. Season 43 has officially come to a close at the time this video goes up, and wow, we did it once again, at it again, diamond rank with a unexpected surprise factor of a deck. Allure Queen Majespecter. Yes, you heard me right. Allure Queen Majespecter. I actually happened to break this deck all by myself, no help needed. Just did tons of studying, how to do some combo lines with the deck. Nothing more, nothing less out of it. So basically, when it comes to the concept of this deck, I kept scratching off things in terms of how to utilize spellcasters with 1500 or less attack correctly. Aside from White Forest from last season, it's super good. And it made me believe that if I was able to work with the White Forest all from last season or last 2 seasons ago, maybe it's that time for me to explore the universe to find what other spellcaster options alongside with Allure Queens to work with super well. And it made me think Majespecter is the next best choice. So why Majespecters of all things? Good question. One, they are wind, which means you can't touch Majespecters with Bestials for starters. And then second of all, the main deck Majespecters, most of them, if not all of them, key phrase, most of them, have 1500 or less attack from the get-go, which means you are able to synergize certain cards for that matter. And best of all, there are times in which, whether if you get yourself locked or not, there are ways to fix lines so that way you're able to make up the most impossible board of all impossible boards ever imagined. And with that being said, let us jump into this season 43 diamond ranked deck profile of Majespecters. So, first things first, on behalf of Allure Queen Majespecters, deck profile for you guys. The name of the game about Majespecters, they are all about targeting protection from your opponent's card effects, and they cannot be killed by your opponent's card effects. That is literally the name of the game for the main deck. One cat. Cat is your magnamut of Majespecter cards, spell/trap included. And this can be done on when this card is no more special. 3 Raccoon. This is your Stratos of Majespecter monster, self-included. 2 Crows. This is your Stratos of Majespecter spells. And then 2 Fox. This is your Stratos of Majespecter traps. Toad, however, he gets around Ash and Purge as well. When this card is normal or special, Toad allows you to straight up set 1 Majespecter spell trap from your deck. And 2 Porcupines, he is your reset button of 1 Majespecter spell from your grave back to the field face down. Generally, the idea about how to start off with your Majespecter lines is that if you are able to start off with Crow, Raccoon to get Porcupine, then you're basically golden from the get-go in any one of the 2 combinations between Raccoon for Porcupine or Crow getting the win. Now, Majespecter spells and traps. 1 storm, not once per turn. Tribute 1 wind spellcaster monster, then target 1 monster your opponent controls, shuffle it back into the deck. Once again, not once a turn. Majespecter Cyclone. Quick play spell, not once a turn. Tribute 1 wind spellcaster monster, then target 1 monster your opponent controls, kill it. Majespecter Wind, however, hard once on the activation. When you activate this, you have the option to tribute a wind spellcaster as well. Normally, you special 1 Majespecter from your hand or graveyard, but if you tributed a wind spellcaster once activated, it is your E-Telly of Majespecters. 2 Tornado and 2 Tempest. During testing, it used to be all 3 Tempest, 1 Tornado, and then 3 Tornado and 1 Tempest. I felt like both copies came up a lot, and it made me think, let us equal the ratios of 2 Tornado and 2 Tempest. Getting in 3 of each for both, I felt like it's way too much. So I figured 2 Tornado and 2 Tempest is the way to go. The Tornado, it is not once a turn. Tribute 1 wind spellcaster monster, target 1 monster your opponent controls, banish it. Do not use this card versus Malice, Kashtira, or any other banishing style decks. They will benefit a lot more. 2 Majespecter Tempest. Counter trap. When a monster's more than 1 will be special summoned or a monster effect is activated, tribute 1 wind spellcaster monster, negate the summon as in never hit the field, or activation as in never happened, and if you do, kill that card. That's that for Majespecters. Next engine, the Allure Queens. 3 Queen level 3, 1 Queen level 5, 1 Queen level 7, 3 Chaos Queen. When it comes to the Allure Queen monsters, in the early years of Yu-Gi-Oh!, the name of the game is the Allure Queens are able to relinquish your opponent's monsters, as in absorb 1. But we're going to start the story first. A very small woman who goes by Queen 3 has the ability to target 1 level 3 or lower monster your opponent controls, hook her up as an equip spell, max up 1. They all share the same thing, which is if the equipped monster were to be killed by battle, destroy that equipped monster instead. During your standby phase, as in the super old history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Game mechanics, it basically takes you 2 turns later, meaning 1 being your opponent's turn, and then your standby, as in the second turn. As in 2 turns later, you send the equipped queen to the graveyard to upgrade herself into the upgraded queen. So Queen 3 is Queen 5. And if summoned off from that procedure, you target 1 level 5 or lower, hook her up as an equip spell. Same concept, 2 turns later, send herself upgrade to Queen 7. And Queen 7's effect is target literally any monster your opponent controls. Now, in the early years of Yu-Gi-Oh! Since Cyberdark Impact is too slow to keep up in the current metagame. That is true. But because of the release of Chaos Allure Queen, she becomes a custom card. You can discard 1 other light or dark monster, special discard from your hand. And then her second effect is what makes it super custom. You can target 1 monster in either graveyard, hook her up as an equip spell, and if you do, she gains that monster's name, which is huge. Then, if you equip a light or dark offerness effect, she is able to get you a dark Allure Queen to special summon from the deck or graveyard. So, what's super important is that, in theory, if your opponent has a light or dark in their graveyard, not yours, you can take theirs just so that it circumvents Call by the Grave from the get-go. And on top of that, being able to bring back an extra body in terms of an Allure Queen Dark monster, it makes it so that you have tons of lines to work with for different options. And the fact that Chaos Queen is able to take names off from the original Queen level monsters, it makes it so that, let's say that if you go Chaos Queen, hook her up with Queen 3, you are able to summon out Queen level 5, and because you summoned out Queen 5 off from gaining that monster's name of Queen 3, Queen 5 is able to get her effects literally whenever she wants to. And then Chaos Queen, same concept of hooking up with Queen 5 to special Queen 7, and because you summon Queen 7 off from Queen 5 on the name change, Queen 7 can get her effect off literally she wants to. And what's even more crazy is that getting a name off from a Majespecter monster, to be specific, she enables your Porcupine in terms of free special for man if you happen to control a Majespecter, which is huge. So just remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you are playing a light or dark deck, and if you happen to utilize any name-changing effects off from Chaos Queen, take advantage of that and make up explosive lines involving the engine. 3 Allure Dance. Upon activation, it is your Fire Formation Tanky of Allure Queen monster, doesn't matter what level it is, or Terraforming for Allure Palace, hard once per turn on the activation of the card, of course, and then each Allure Queen monster you control gains attack equal to the attack of monsters equipped to it by its effect. Dance is basically making your Allure Queens able to get your OTKs going. The last effect, it's literally a custom effect. You can send one other spell trap you control to the graveyard, special summon as many Allure Queen monsters with different names as possible from your graveyard. Dance enables you to open up lines between Lina, Dark, Golden Queen, as well as Chaos Angel, which is huge. 2 Allure Palace. Spellcaster monsters you control gain 500 stats. Nice. You can send one other card. Well, technically, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, add to your hand, or special summon to your opponent's field one Allure Queen monster from your deck. This can be done thrice per turn, aka 3 times in the same turn. Surprise factor number 1. A lot of people be Ash Blossom or Dominus traps for no reason. But if you think about it, thrice means 3 times. Which means don't Ash Blossom, don't use Dominus cards by any means necessary, because you just basically wasted your hand traps and you'd still end up losing to talents and or thrust if you were to Ash the card. And then Allure Queen effect monsters you control gains the supernatural effect. You can send this equipped card, aka queens, that are equipped offering their own effects to the graveyard to special any spellcaster with 1500 or less attack from hand to deck. Once again, not once per turn. Do not Ash Blossom or Dominus Traps it, because we have ways to get out Majespecters by any means necessary. No matter how many times players tend to hand trap a lot, we still can keep the combos going no matter what. And then as for the rest, non-engine, I guess. So Tactics Thrust, Tactics Talent, Pendulum Rising, hard once per turn on Pendulum Rising. Send one monster you control to the graveyard to special summon from your deck one Pendulum monster with the same level as the sent original level, sent monster's original level. But just remember, if you don't do anything with that special summoned monster of a pendulum, that summoned monster gets killed during the end phase. So generally, the idea is, if for whatever the reason, once again, if they Ash Blossom you early on, you basically go, what you do is, you summon out Queen 3, normal or special it out, or from Chaos Queen lines. You go Pendulum Rising, send in Queen 3 you control to the graveyard to special summon most of the time for the deck Majespecter Raccoon Bumbuku, which is another way of getting your Allure Queen lines transition into Majespecters, just so that Raccoon gets your Porcupine and then free extension to make your Majespecter Allure Queen lines super insane. Feather Duster, Call by the Grave, and then Hand Traps, 3 Drolenlot Bird, Wind Spellcaster, synergy with the Majespecter Spell Traps, 2 Infinite Impermanence. We is not trying to lose 2 talents or thrust of the opponents. And then 1 card you didn't see on this list, or couple cards. Majesty Pegasus, Majespecter Kirin, and or Blizzard. Normally, I'm a Blizzard main guy, but space issues. And then Majespecter Kirin, to be specific, it's never that necessary anymore, to tell you the truth though, even though the card is super strong upon its first existence. I felt like, to tell you the truth, Kirin has pretty much overstayed its welcome, and I said to myself, there's no space issues for maining Kirin from the get-go. And then no Majesty Pegasus is because Allure Dance can search Allure Palace. So, not so much out of it. And then extra deck. I will literally say this right now. Literally every single card was made out of the extra deck. Artemis, the 3 Charmers, Wind, Lina, and Dark. When it comes to the Charmer links, you're basically mitigating in terms of netting you great advantage from the get-go, as well as link climbing. So that way, you are able to circumvent A, the barrier, B, you trying to hand trap me out of this game, or C, you trying to spot removal from the get-go. And because you are doing 3 of these options, you're basically enabling me to go straight to a Charmer link and just keep on going with the link climb from the get-go. Celine, self-explanatory. 2 Golden Allure Queens. There are some lines in which, if for whatever the reason, your first copy gets stopped by any means necessary, you always have yourself a second copy to back you up. The way how Golden Queen works is 3 spellcasters in general to make her. First chance, she's Link Shoken. You can special one Allure Queen monster from your deck or graveyard, doesn't matter what level it is, and if you do, she gains 1500 attack until the end of the next turn, so 2 turns later. The secondary effect is any Allure Queens in their original names that you can activate that involves equipping it, they are now considered quick effects. Orchestrated Babel, mixed, relinquished in a nutshell. And then I literally learned this during testing before season 43 started, is that assuming that if you were to make 2 golden allures on the same field, her last effect is a soft once per turn, which is when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can does not target, kill 1 card anywhere on the field. Also, Allure Queen monsters you control cannot be killed by card effects this turn, which is huge. Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax, Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. This is your biggest threat in terms of dealing with something that's basically unkillable or unoutable. So every Snake Eye player that summons out Food Show, or every other deck that puts out towers, that's not enough. Anywho, to follow up the rest of the Allure Queen lines in any capacity, Chaos Angel, and most of the times is where you always make this in terms of Chaos Queen and Queen 3 for the sake of Chaos Angel, just to gain both effects. So realistically, I really don't see the issue out of Chaos Angel. And then for the Majespecter good stuff, as I already mentioned when earlier, Chidori Draco Ryu. Draco Ryu is absolute nuts because I literally learned this in terms of unique interactions where if a monster's more than one is tributed, and it doesn't matter who tributes a monster. So Artifact Lancia and or Fiendsmith's Requiem, you're giving me huge advantage from the get-go. So you best be careful tributing, or else Draco Ryu is going to get the advantage. The case is, if a monster's more than one is tributed while this card is on the field outside of the damage step, you can detach one, special one level 6 or lower when spellcaster monster from your deck. This can be done not once, but twice per turn, which is absolute nuts. And aside the fact that it's a pendulum as well, if you're able to pendulum summon level 4s, you can pendulum summon this face-up card from your extra deck. Nothing more, nothing less. And then if this card in the monster zone gets killed by battle or card effect or tributed, you can place this in your scale, assuming that if it's one of the 2 zones are empty. And once it's scaled, if you have a Majespecter or Draco Slayer card in your other pendulum zone, you can add 1 Majespecter card from deck to hand, so it's another Magnamut, just like Cat. Then you can optional does not target, kill 1 card in your pendulum zone, which is huge. And that effect is a hard once per turn. Lightning Chidori. This is one of the most amazing outs in the extra deck, no questions asked, because for whatever the reason, Majespecters being labeled a wind monster makes it so that Chidori is able to make you put cards back to the bottom of the deck upon XZ summon in terms of a set card, and then the detach effect is to make you stack a face up card your opponent controls to top deck it. So it's essentially Ryza in a nutshell. Beyond the Pendulum card is amazing. Anytime I come across unknown blanks, this is the part where Beyond the Pendulum's other effect goes crazy, and this was done once or twice throughout the season career. If two or more monsters, well, technically two monsters with different original levels are pendulum summoned at the same time to the zones in which she points to, you can target two cards anywhere on the field, kill them, hard once per turn on a spot removal. And then, first chance She's Link Shoken in the extra monster zone, you can pay 1,200 points, add one pendulum from deck to hand, pendulum monster, and unless you find a way to pendulum summon, you cannot use monster effects in general, or your pendulum scales are negated. Realistically, we don't care about the scales that isn't Draco Ryu because the main deck monster scales are literal blanks. Majespecter knew when I resolve this, I win. So to ensure the fact that New can get your combo off 99.99% of the time is that if you start your Allure Queen plays first with Allure Palace to give them a free monster on the field, and because you give them a free monster on the field, it turns off Infinite Impermanence, Lightning Storm, Evenly Match, and Mold Charmy. So that makes opponents getting caught off guard, and there's not much they can do about it. First chance New gets Link Shoken, you can add up to 2 face-up Majespecter Pendulum monsters from your extra deck to your hand. Then you can add up to 2 Majespecter Pendulum monsters with different names from your main deck to your face-up extra deck. And once resolved, you are locked into Majespecter or Draco Slayer in terms of no summoning from the extra deck. And that effect is hard once a turn. And of course, Exceed the Pendulum. Shoutouts to the 3rd anniversary of this year's Royal Rare pull. Gains 100 attack for each Pendulum monster card you control. Nice. And then first chance She's Link Shoken, you can add 1 face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. And then during the main phase, as a quick effect, you can special 1 Pendulum monster from your hand or graveyard in defense with a level between the pendulum scales of the 2 cards in your pendulum zones. Quick play extension, which is amazing. And this has been James Polk with the unique diamond deck mixture of Allure Queen Majespecter. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Smash the notification bell to keep yourself constantly updated. Also, if you are a brand new or returning Master Duel player, after 1 full month of missing gameplay, be sure to use my campaign code in the description below so we can gather the leftover prizes for future content. I thank you all for tuning in, and I shall catch you all next season.